for his work as an accomplished performer, jazz film documentarian, composer, conductor, and historian, and his commitment to jazz education. Dr. James Hardy Patterson is an institution. He loves Atlanta, and he's given so much to Atlanta and helped us here in Atlanta to uplift and make jazz a part of our lives here in the city of Atlanta. And it was an honor and a privilege to give the proclamation to him today. It was signed by myself and all 15 members of council. And we certainly want to recognize people. We want to give them their flowers while they do. And his are overdue. We should have been proclaiming him a long time ago, but now at this festival, at this time, I think is even more appropriate that he can be with other musicians and be around the spirit and the movement of jazz around him and in the air. And I think he really appreciated it. We certainly miss coming together. We certainly miss our jazz festival, something that we look forward to every year, sort of a rite of passage for summer. But you know, the fall, this going into the fall, it's not bad. It's not as hot, but people are coming out and able to social distance and enjoy good jazz music and fellowship with family and friends and hear the great sounds of jazz. Jazz history means a lot to Atlanta. There are many things that the city builds on, and you think about what brings people to Atlanta, and jazz, and particularly all of the jazz festivals that we have, they bring visitors in from other places. And when people come, some of them want to stay because of the music. I know music brought me to Atlanta. And then some people, you know, they come and they want to continue to visit. And of course that helps our revenue, it helps our city, and it certainly helps Atlanta's brand.
Chasteen Park is the largest park in the city of Atlanta. This is the last piece of the Chasteen Park path, and it's taken over 25 years since it began, and we are here at a groundbreaking to celebrate this last piece, getting ready to start. You know, the phrase, it takes a village. Well, it certainly takes a village here. There have been lots and lots of organizations who have helped make this happen. I think there are over 500,000 people and probably about 250,000 dogs that use the path each year. It's an asset that is used by many, many people, from young people walking along to people on bikes to people running and exercising and folks coming after work to enjoy a stroll in the park. And the path has really been a catalyst for revitalizing the park, and so lots of park partners here today with NYO and the horse park and the pool, and it's a wonderful time to celebrate together.
Now therefore we, the members of the Atlanta City Council, on behalf of the citizens of the city of Atlanta, who hereby proclaim this day, May the 22nd, 2021, as Tom Murphy Day in our fair city. In witness thereof, we cause the seal of the city of Atlanta to be hereunto affixed. Congratulations.
We're here today to celebrate Tom Murphy and 40 years of his restaurant Murphy's in the heart of Virginia Highland. But that's unusual these days to have a business owner, locally owned, lives in the area for that period of time. And, you know, he serves a fantastic meal. It's a place people come for baby showers, for brunches, for weddings, and he's been tremendous in giving back to the community as well. I'm just so excited that Murphy's, Tom says that they're back to their pre-COVID business. People are out and about. He's making it a safe place to eat. I've been back here, and it's one of my favorite places, and I hope people will get out as they feel comfortable and back into their local restaurants.
Well, we are here because we are celebrating 10 years of the existence of Jenny Drake Park. And I'm so proud to be here as council member who represented this district. Miss Jenny Drake, who the park is named after, lived next door. She would call my office almost every other day. If a leaf fell off a tree in this park, she would call. And she was always a great caretaker, and so it's a great story. Today, the proclamation, of course, is celebrating 10 years of this park, but it's also great that it is the Juneteenth celebration, because we're celebrating not only that enslaved African Americans were freed, finally, when they had already been freed 2 years ago, but it's also freeing up this community to have a wonderful, lovely, green space where they can come and commune with nature. So all of it comes together for the good.
Today we are at the East Atlanta branch of the Fulton Atlanta Library, and we are here celebrating a grand reopening. There's been renovation, some expansion, and we're just happy to say we're back in business. One of the speakers here today, we had Commissioner Ron Pitts and other commissioners, as well as the county manager. And this is a place, this is the center of our community. It's the place where you get information, and one of the things we heard today is that there's signs all over the place talking about getting vaccinated. So it's an information center, and so we're just honored and happy to be here to say East Atlanta Library is back, new and improved.
Today we're here in Northwest Atlanta to say goodbye to this old eyesore that has been plaguing this community for over a decade. Sierra Ridge was a drug haven, drug-infested parcel of land right here at 3202 Delmar Lane. So community members gathered here today because this is the beginning of the rehabilitation and renovation of Sierra Ridge. Over 10 years ago, there were over 300 code enforcement violations, over 300 calls to 911, and we knew that we had to do something about it. It is very important that they have a safe, sanitary environment. We will be working with the owners of this property and the developers to make sure that the quality of life for all residents exists in Northwest Atlanta.
Even though it's overcast, this is an incredibly exciting day. DeKalb Ave has been a dangerous street on the east side of Atlanta for a long, long time. And I am super excited that we're breaking ground on phase 1 today, making this safer for the neighborhoods that touch it on both sides, for folks who ride MARTA or who cycle down on their way to or from downtown. But I want to underscore that this is just phase 1, that there is unfinished work that we have here, and it'll be important to pass a new T-SPLOS and a new infrastructure bond next spring so we can do the full project and give our residents what they deserve. It's all part of the larger, honestly, the Vision Zero of making sure that no Atlanta resident is injured or dies on our streets. And today's groundbreaking is a step in making sure that that doesn't happen again on DeKalb Ave.
Well, we are here because we are celebrating 10 years of the existence of Jenny Drake Park. And I'm so proud to be here as council member who represented this district. Miss Jenny Drake, who the park is named after, lived next door. She would call my office almost every other day. If a leaf fell off a tree in this park, she would call. And she was always a great caretaker. And so it's a great story. Today, the proclamation, of course, is celebrating 10 years of this park. But it's also great that it is the Juneteenth celebration, because we're celebrating not only that enslaved African Americans were freed, finally, when they had already been freed 2 years ago, but it's also freeing up this community to have a wonderful, lovely green space where they can come and commune with nature. So all of it comes together for the good.
We're out here downtown today celebrating the completion of 4 projects that were voted on during our Downtown Decides participatory budgeting process. And we're riding a bike from one location to the other to do a ribbon cutting in each of the 4 transportation projects. Some of the projects we're celebrating today are new bike lanes in the Central Business District, the painting of an island in the middle of the road yellow so people can see it, and some new trash cans in the Sweet Auburn corridor. This is the direct result of citizens participating in this program. This is the first time we've done participatory budgeting in Atlanta, and it puts the power directly in people's hands on how tax dollars are spent, and we're just thrilled with the response and the success of the program so far.
It is 1 o'clock, and this is Felicia Moore, your Atlanta City Council President. Welcome to today's full council meeting for Monday, November 1st, 2021. Mr. Clerk, can we get the roll call, please?
President Felicia A. Moore.
Present.
Council members, Post 1 at large Michael Julian Bond.
Here. Here.
Post 2 at large Matt Westmoreland.
Here.
Post 3 at large Andre Pickens.
Here.
Council District 1 Carla Smith.
Here.
Council District 2 Amir Faroki.
Here.
Council District 3 Antonio Brown. Council District 4 Cleta Winslow.
Present.
Council District 5 Madeline Mosby Archibald. Council District 6 Jennifer N. Hyde.
Here.
Council District 7 Howard Shook. Council District 8 J.T. Matsakite.
Here.
Council District 9 Dustin Hill.
Here.
Council District 10 Andrea L. Boone.
Present.
Council District 11 Marcy Collier Overstreet.
Present.
Council District 12 Joyce M. Shepard.
Present.
Quorum present.
Yes, I understand 2 members have joined us. Mr. Brown, are you present?
Yes, Madam President.
And Ms. Archibald? Yes, I am. Thank you. Is there anyone else that has not been able to say they're present? Okay, Mr. Clark.
Duly noted, 14 members present.
All right, thank you. We will now move to the adoption of the agenda. The agenda will be adopted today with the following change, and that will be a committee of the whole for the purpose of hearing from Committee on Council. If there are any questions, any objections, if there are no objections, on unanimous, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved, Cascade. Second.
Motion by Matsakite, second by Bond to adopt the agenda. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, on unanimous consent of members present, the agenda is adopted. Quickly, brief remarks. Again, welcome to today's meeting. How about those Atlanta Braves? 3 down, 1 game to go. Let's go Braves. And the next game is tomorrow night in Houston, Texas, so we are all sending them well wishes. A reminder that Election Day is tomorrow, November 2nd. We're encouraging everyone to get out to vote. In the city of Atlanta, this is a reminder, the polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. That's 7 a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Also want to recognize and thank Jose Health for serving Atlanta for 50 years and congratulate them on their new building that they just opened up. We have also a birthday, I understand. Mr. Howard Shook is celebrating his birthday. Mr. Shook, thank you for being here today on your day, and happy birthday to you. Now we'll go into a moment of silence. We will add a prayer for Reverend Butler, our dear friend and father of council staff member Bridget Brown. Reverend Butler is at home in the care of his family, and we pray for his strength and healing. Again, our continued condolences go to the family of Jovita Moore. Jovita is a soul of our city and was taken too soon. Her ultimate passing was hard for us all. We will continue to keep her family in our prayers. Another terrible loss is that of Mr. Noel Khalil, founding partner, chairman, and CEO of Columbia Residential LLC. He focused on affordable housing as part of his portfolio. Mr. Khalil passed away on October 25th, and he will be dearly missed. Condolences in the passing of Ms. Arnett Ruth Payne, the sister of our staff member Teresa Payne in the Municipal Clerk's Office. Our prayers are with Teresa and the Payne family during this time. Our sympathies go out to the family of Christopher Patterson, who passed away on October 24th. Mr. Patterson was a career court services professional here in Atlanta. Let's keep the Patterson family in our prayers. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Mr. Fulton Gordon, who will be funeralized today. Mr. Gordon was a long-time warehouseman, cook, and friend of the Hosea Health Organization. We also mourn the loss of Morris Dillard, longtime Atlanta community activist and public servant. He attended Morehouse, served as NAACP president, worked for MARTA, and served on the Atlanta Olympic Committee. Mr. Dillard's homegoing services was held October 23rd. He was 83. We pray for the continued recovery of Kimberly Sargent, City of Atlanta manager of the Vision Zero program, and her husband, Paul Leonhardt, who works for the City of Dunwoody. They were involved in a hit-and-run incident, and I'm not sure who that is. If you can check your muted or your speaker. A hit-and-run incident in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with 2 others. We wish them a speedy and full recovery. And as always, we pray for all families affected by COVID-19 as we continue to work our way through this pandemic. And this moment of silence will also include anyone that we have not mentioned. Are there any members who wish to add to this sadly long list of to go into the moment of silence?
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to lend my voice to join with all of the Atlanta, really Georgia family in acknowledging the passing of the great Jovita Moore, who was an outstanding journalist and news anchor at WSB Television. She was a good friend and really a stalwart. And so she will sorely be missed, not only on the evening news, but of course, as a presence in Atlanta. She was a great contributor to many community events and causes. So she will deeply be missed in a wide sense, and of course, for me in a personal sense. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't speak about Morris Dillard, who, as you noted, was a graduate of Morehouse. Had a great career at Marshall, was very formative in the passing of the referendum that got us to Marshall. His professional ambition was to be a teacher, but he ended up being teaching and nurturing our city in a broader way. He, as a student at Morehouse, was an exchange Rhodes Scholar and spoke fluent French, which we all benefited from the use of his being bilingual in the cause to secure the 1996 Olympics for our city. He lobbied the French-speaking African nations for their vote in support of Atlanta over Athens, Greece. People forget that was a world-shaking victory. As they say in Hamilton, the world was turned upside down when Atlanta defeated Athens for the 1996 Olympics, which was centennial Olympic Games. He was a great contributor and also a founding movement of the Atlanta student movement, the movement that desegregated Atlanta, that's been emulated many times around the world, for which the mantra of the city, the motto of the city was coined, a city too busy to hate. And so he never stopped doing that great civic work, whether at MARTA or ACOG or when he was a teacher. At the beginning of his career, he was a great man, a great individual, and of course he would be sorely missed. In the Atlanta City Council, I presented on behalf of the council a proclamation to his family to acknowledge his life and his passing. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, Madam President.
You're welcome, Ms. Archibald.
Thank you. I wanted to acknowledge the law department has lost a 27-year employee, Ms. Sherry Butler. So we want to keep her family and the staff of the law department in our thoughts and prayers. And then last night, an 11-year-old was killed on Memorial Drive during trick-or-treating, and so his family, of course, is devastated, as is the nearby community, and so just keep all of them in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Any other members? Hearing none, let's go into the moment of silence on said names and those we have not called. Okay, thank you for the moment of silence. Before we move forward, I'm asked to pause. There was a problem with the conference line. So if everyone could just please hold while we get the conference line back up. Some people are not able to get in. Please hold.
Showcase potential.
Okay, I understand we're next. Mr. Shakara, you have joined us.
Thank you. Yes.
And you missed it if you weren't here that wished you happy birthday.
Well, it's appreciated. I feel like $100. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, would you please note that Mr. Shook is present?
Duly noted.
All right, thank you. Now we will go to our invocation. Today's invocation is going to be given to us by Reverend Katie Owen Harmon. And I may have said the name wrong, but she'll correct me. She's the pastor of Morningside Presbyterian Church, and we certainly welcome you here today. Are you on the line?
I am.
Well, right. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President Moore, for the invitation. It is an honor to be with you this morning and to pray blessing upon your work. As a Presbyterian, I'm reminded that one of our founding theologians, John Calvin, believes that the work of civil servants like yourself was among the highest possible callings by God, even among preachers like me, mostly because you are entrusted with the well-being of society. So thank you for your leadership, and let me invite us into a time of prayer. Holy God, we begin our days aware of blessings that are beyond our control. The beauty of a new day as the sun rises each morning, the possibility for community and connection, the capacity for meaningful work and love of neighbor, our very breath. For these things we are grateful. We lift up to you all those community leaders who we are grieving the loss of and give thanks for their enduring contributions to the well-being of the city. We also begin each day aware of the possibilities yet before us to make your world a better place. We give thanks for the call placed upon each of these leaders to guide the city toward a place of flourishing for all. Grant them listening ears to one another and to those that are called to serve. Bless them with discerning minds and understanding hearts. Instill in them both the patience and imagination necessary to work toward a sense of beloved community for all those entrusted to their care. On the eve of an election where competition and partisanship can divide us, unite our goals and hopes around the betterment of the city. Help us to see that there is more that unites us than divides us, so that we may set aside animosity and work together with hope. We pray blessing upon Atlanta and all those who live and labor within its bounds. Fill the city with peace as its leaders work toward justice. Inspire neighborliness and a sense of responsibility to one another. Watch over the least of these whom you have called your children. And create opportunities for growth, not just economically, but in our spirits, that kindness, compassion, mercy, and joy might define the city's character. Then above all, grant us a sense of humility that all that we are able to do is but a small slice of a greater story that ends in shalom, in your abiding peace. So it is in your many names that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so very much for joining us. Now we will go to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now we will go to Section F, proclamations, commendations, and other special awards, which we do not do during remote meetings. And so now we'll go to the next section, which is remarks by the public. Mr. Clerk.
The public may leave a comment of their concerns the day before the scheduled meeting between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. by dialing 404-330-6001. Public comments for the full council agenda shall not exceed 2 minutes. In addition, the Committee on Council will enter the committee as a whole, and the public may express concern for the individual meeting by dialing 404-330-6069. Messages for the committee meetings shall not exceed 3 minutes. We have approximately 17 comments, totaling 21 minutes and 50 seconds. Mr. Massenberg.
Hello, my name is Louise Stansky. I'm a resident of 3630 Peachtree Road. I'm calling with regard to the rezoning of the Waipa Road Baptist Church, and I wanted to make some comments about my concerns for the development of the area. We understand that there will be a change in the area, but I just want to be sure it's a well-planned. This is Laura Abernathy, and I'm calling because I am in favor of allowing the development of Waipa Baptist Church at the corner. My name is Anne Gordon, given up the Spirit of Christ. My enemy speak evil of me. When shall he die? And his name period. Psalm 41st chapter 5th verse. At the heart of this psalm is the sad reality of being forsaken by one's friend. Dan Montgomery has not stopped coming on my roof because he agreed with some big organizations to make terms to steal the income Jesus created in me for the saving of enormous amount of souls and lives. For men should be lovers of their own self, covetous, boastful, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents, unfaithful, unholy. 2 Timothy 3rd chapter 2nd verse. The prediction of perilous times indicates that apostasy will characterize the final days of the church age. For my children love money more than me, then it ceased to be a Christ-like family. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that has his hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Leviticus 19, chapter 13, verse. Describes the omnipotent, avenging character of the God who sees and hears its injustice. Return to thine own house and shew how great things God has done unto thee. And he went his way and published throughout the whole city how great things Jesus has done unto him. Luke 8, chapter 39, verse. Along with his healing, the man, like every convert, to bear witness to what the Lord has done. Jesus told me to give him glory for what he has done in me, to encourage others to become Christ-like husbands, wives, and children.
Yes, my name is Scott Allen. I'm calling to express my concern for and opposition to the rezoning of the Waipa Road Baptist Church property. I believe a change in the density of this.
Yes, my name is Rebecca Allen. I am calling regarding the zone.
Greetings, council members and staff. A special meeting for you citizens and voters of Atlanta monitoring your government in action. And Howard, being the advocate, public policy analyst. And so they say, if you leave them alone, the neighborhood planning system will self-destruct. And they say, if you leave them alone, the Atlanta Planning Advisory Board leadership will render that entity ineffective. And they say, if you stay out of it, the SDUR 9 will keep up so much mess at neighborhood planning units are meeting that council members and candidates for office won't have to care about the concerns of senior citizens and others along the Campbellton Cascade corridor being aired neighborhood planning units are meeting. Just take some food to the high rises. Just hold a job fair somewhere. Just put out a political flyer with your pretty face. All ugliness will be forgiven and forgotten. As those citizen participation wanes, voter apathy reigns, and it's business as usual, controlled by Vice Chair Antonina Robinson, Colditz Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Alfred White, Jeanette L. Scott, Allison Hathaway, Cheryl Brown, Agent X, Sherry Williams, and the SPUR 9 syndicate controllers.
My name is Tony Mills, and I'm calling in reference to the Wyoka Road Baptist Church rezoning and proposed amendment to the CDP Z2105.
This is Nicholas Lepore. I'm a longtime resident of Atlanta in the Buckhead area. I live very close to the Wyoka Church, and
Yes, hi, my name is Anna Spencer, and I live on Wyoka Road. I'm calling to express my opposition.
Hello, this is Melissa Wagner, and I'm calling in opposition to the...
My name is Barbara Delk, Jason Davis, E-L-K. I live at 1170 Angelo Court within the city of Atlanta, and I am calling with regard to the Wyoka.
My name is Elizabeth, and I am calling to state that while we do not oppose the development of the Wyoka.
Hello, City Council. My name is Michael Cecil. I'm a Buckhead resident, live in District 7. I oppose the current rezoning of the property owned by the Wyoka.
Good afternoon, City Council. I know y'all are so excited. Got 2 more days before the votes come in. Some people going to be back, and some people's not coming back. But I also want to address this to you because this is District 11. You still did not pave the streets and make sure the streets are safe. We don't know you're going to get back in or not. But when we wait 4 years for these streets, I want a young lady to dress you. Mother know best.
Hi, Richard. I just want to say something about the streets. It's basically different streets that doesn't have signs on it, and like signs that we can't see, and signs that are like messed up and stuff, and like people having trouble driving and stuff. And I also have friends that walk to school, and it's just really not safe. And I just feel like everything just needs to be fixed.
Good afternoon, the City Council members. My name is Judy Fiscal. I am opposing to Z21.
Yes, my name is Bruce Smith. I live at 3630 Peachtree Road. I am calling in once again to oppose the rezone.
My name is Ben Wu. I'm a resident at 3630 Peachtree Road. We are the property. We live in the property that's directly next to the Wyoka Baptist Church rezoning.
I think that may be the end of our public comment, which ended a lot earlier than expected because for the public's benefit, all zoning matters, the public hearing is during the zoning review board meeting. and the council is not to hear public hearing on zoning matters. So as you noticed, we had to skip through more items than we were anticipating. So we are now back, and we will go to the report of the journal, Mr. Clerk.
I, Forrest Webb III, Municipal Clerk, do certify that the action minutes of the October 18, 2021 regular meeting and the October 28, 2021 special call meeting of the Atlanta City Council are true and correct.
I'll entertain a motion to accept and file.
So moved.
Second by Brown, motion by Masakai to accept and file. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, on unanimous consent of members present, it is accepted and filed.
Unanimous consent is 15 yeas, 0 nays.
It is accepted and filed. Thank you. Now we will move on to communications, Mr. Clerk.
Madam President, if I could found items 1 through 5 in the block.
Yes, proceed.
21-C-0153, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Mr. Roosevelt Council Jr. to serve as a member of the Atlanta Beltline Affordable Housing Advisory Board. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. 21-C-0154, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Ms. Philippa Chad to serve as a member of the Atlanta Beltline Tax Allocation District Advisory Committee. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. 21-C-0155, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Dr. Fahmi Pico to serve as a member of the Atlanta Urban Design Commission in the artist category. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. 21-C-0156, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Ms. Leslie Cannon to serve as a member of the Atlanta Urban Design Commission in the Historic Preservationist category. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. 21-C-0157, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Ms. Susan Steinbach to serve as a member of the Atlanta Urban Design Commission in the landscape category, landscape architect category. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. Staff recommendation to refer to Community Development and Human Services and Committee on Council.
Let us follow that course.
21-C-0158, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Mr. Rod Mullis to serve as a member of the Metropolitan Atlanta Transit Authority Board of Directors for the City of Atlanta. This appointment is for a term of 4 years. Staff recommendation to refer to Transportation Committee and Committee on Council.
Let us follow that course.
21-C-0159, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Ms. Fatima Ladipo to serve as a member of the Zoning Review Board. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. Staff recommendation to refer to Zoning Committee and Committee on Council.
Let us follow that course.
And Madam President, if I could find the last 2 items at the block.
Proceed.
21-C-0160, a communication from Chief Procurement Officer Martin Clark submitting the October 11th, 2021 through October 15th, 2021 weekly contracts report. 21-C-0161, submitting the October 18th, 2021 through October 25th, 2021 weekly contracts report to the Atlanta City Council and Clerk of Council pursuant to Section 2-1142 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances. Staff recommendation to accept and file both.
Staff recommendation to accept and file. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second, Masakai.
Okay, was that Bond moving?
Yes.
Okay, motion by Bond, second by Masakai. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing no objection, on unanimous consent of members present, we will accept and file it. Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous
consenting members present is 15 yeas, 0 nays.
It is accepted and filed. Any other communication?
There are none, Madam President. That concludes my report.
Thank you. We now go to consideration of vetoed legislation.
There are none, Madam President.
Unfinished business.
There is none, Madam President.
All right, we are now on consent agenda section 1. Consent agenda section 1 is comprised of items that have gone through the respective standing committees and we have received unanimous recommendation of approval. Are there any items to be removed? If you would hit your speaker button, and then after I get those people, I will ask for other members. And the first member I see is Ms. Hyde.
Thank you, Madam President. I know that there is one from FEC that was Mr. Matsakite's paper. I'm looking to see what the number is, unless Mr. Matsakite knows. Just give me 1 second, and I'll see if I can track that down. Unless Mr. Matsakite knows the number, I'm happy for him to jump in and tell me.
Which paper is that?
It's 210816. And let me just make sure I know what it's about.
Ms. I, while you're finding that, let me just ask, are there any other members that have items to be removed? Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure.
Mr. Matsakite, staff said it's a carry forward paper for you for $5,000, and I don't know if it needs to be amended or why.
It needs to be filed. I'm sorry, we got confused, so apologies.
Okay. Yes, the Council President is 210816.
Okay, that is on page 23. I understand item number 10.
Yes,
so we will remove that item. Any other to be removed? Thank you, Ms. I. All right, hearing none, let's open the vote on consent agenda section 1 minus that one item.
Madam President, this is Councilmember Winslow.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I think this is going to come up in the zoning committee. I've got a couple of amendments from our zoning paper. It's the SPI. So it's not on consent.
All right, we'll get to that.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's not, because I'm driving. I'm not looking at the agenda.
I'm sure it's not on the...
Okay, consent. All right. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Let's open the vote on consent agenda section 1.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
If you could close out the vote, then I'll be able to see who hasn't voted. Thank you. Oh, that's all right. This is good. Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Okay, now let's switch it over. Give me 1 second. All right, Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Boone?
Yes.
Westmoreland?
In favor.
Brown?
Yes. Yes.
Winslow?
In favor.
Smith?
Yay.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote.
Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Conway.
Yeah, Dennis Conway, Parliamentarian, Atlanta City Council. Just for the public's information, anyone else that would need to know, that was actually page 10, item number 23. I think the announcement reversed those numbers.
I'm sorry. All right. We remove page 10, item 23. Thank you, Mr. Conway.
Thank you.
The vote is now closed. 15 yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. Consent agenda section 1 is adopted. minus the item on page 10, item number 23. Now we will go to consent agenda section 2. All of those items are on first read at this meeting and will be referred as indicated in the agenda to the respective standing committees, and they will follow that course. Now we go to the report of the standing committees. Our first standing committee is Committee on Council, which will go into a committee as a whole. Mr. Reskai?
Yes, I'll make that motion to go into the committee hall.
Second.
Second by Bond, motion by Maskite to enter committee as a whole. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, we are now in committee as a whole. The Honorable J.P. Maskite, Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. The first item on the agenda for the Committee on Council today is public comment. I believe we have one public comment. If you could please play that. Thank you.
Greetings, members and staff of the Committee on Council. A special greeting to you, citizens and voters of Atlanta, for listening to our public officials and to comments by the public. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. Although the final count has not been completed and authenticated, it is reported that approximately 30,000 registered voters out of more than 400,000 registered voters participated in early voting in Atlanta, 7%. While the reasons for vote apathy in Atlanta are legion, one reason cannot be overlooked or understated: fake news. Fake news, the bane of ethics and integrity. It is no secret that uppermost in the minds of many is crime and criminal activity. Crime has been uppermost for many months and for several city administrations. Moses has been told the chair of the city's Public Safety Committee has the answer. A $90 million police training facility will keep us safe. Fake news. Moses has been told the council members from District 11 held a public safety meeting downstairs at the YMCA on Campbellton Road, while the near-to-do NBUR 9 held a meeting upstairs. Some think as the consequence of that meeting, we will be safe now. Fake news. And now, weeks before Election Day 2021, some candidates have come out of the woodwork proclaiming, "Vote for me. I am the one, the only one, who can keep this state from crime and criminals." The voters know that news is just as bleak as saying neighbor planning unit armed. At this meeting 2 days from now, we'll have a public safety committee endorsed by and permitted by Vice Chair Anthony Robinson, Carlos Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Renette L. Scott, Albert White, Allison Hathaway, Cheryl Brown, Agent X, Sherry Williams, and the NPUR 9 fake news creators and supporters. Fake news will not get out the vote.
All right, thank you. That concludes our public comment. We have 7 communications today. The first is 21C0132. It's a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Mr. Alan Ferguson to serve as a member of the Housing Commission. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. The recommendation came to us from the CHS committee to file, and that was on the 26th of October. So my motion is to file.
Second, Brown.
Motion by Maskite, second by Brown to file. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, on unanimous consent of members present, it is filed. Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent is 15 yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. That motion is filed. There are 5 communications that were all heard by the Committee of Purview that were
unanimous, and I would like to take them as a block if there is no objection. Hearing none, first is 21C0133. This is number 2. It's a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Ms. Amber A. Robinson to serve as a member of the Municipal Market Company Board of Directors. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. This was favorable by CDHS on the 26th of October. The next is number 3, 21C0137, a communication from Minnie Prather, Secretary of Vine City Civic Association, submitting the appointment of Mr. Solomon Brannon to serve as a member of the Rodney Cook Senior Park Historic Oversight Committee. This is favorable from CDHS on the 26th of October. Next is number 4, which is 21C0138, a communication from Monique Prather, Secretary of Vine City Civic Association, submitting the appointment of Mr. Stephen Muhammad to serve as a member of the Rodney Cook Senior Park Historic Oversight Committee. This was also favorable from CDHS on the 26th of October. Next is number 6, which is 21C0140, communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms reappointing Ms. Kenyatta Mitchell to serve as a member of the Keep Atlanta Beautiful Commission. This appointment for a term of 2 years and was favorable by the City Utilities Committee on the 26th of October. And the last is number 7, 21C0141, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms reappointing Ms. Yvonne Douglas to serve as a member of the Keep Atlanta Beautiful Commission. This appointment is for a term of 2 years and was also favorable by City Utilities Committee on the 26th of October. My motion is to confirm all 5 of those.
Second, Brown.
Motion by Matsakite, second by Brown. Any discussion? Any objections? If not, on unanimous consent of members present, Mr. Clerk, they are confirmed.
Unanimous consent is 15 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, 15 yeas, 0 nays. They are confirmed. And the final one is number 5, 21C0139, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Ms. Priscilla Carter to serve as a member of the License Review Board. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. This was favorable from Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee on the 26th of October with 5 yeas and 1 nay. The motion is to confirm.
Second by Brown, motion by Matsakite. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none on unanimous consent, it is confirmed, Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent is 15 yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. That is confirmed. And that concludes the business of the Committee on Council today. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you entertain a motion to go back to exit the Committee of Whole.
So moved, Matsakite.
Second.
Motion and second to exit the Committee of the Whole. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none on unanimous consent of members present, we have exited the Committee of the Whole. Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent is 15 yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. We are now out of Committee of the Whole. I'll entertain a motion to adopt in gross all actions taken in the Committee of the Whole.
So moved, Matsakite.
Second.
Second by Vaughn, motion by Matsakite to adopt in gross all actions taken in the Committee of the Whole. Any objection? Any discussion? Let's open the vote on adopting in gross all actions taken in the Committee of the Whole.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Boom?
Yes.
Winslow? Oh,
In favor.
Okay, Winslow and Brown.
In favor.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. All actions taken in the committee of the whole are adopted. Thank you, Mr. Masterton. So now we're going to our next standing committee, which I am looking for, which is Transportation. The Honorable Andre Dickens, Chair.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We only have one item. Well, actually, now that Mr. Mascot, you did remove that item from the held. So
I would like to do that, Mr. Dickens. Yes.
Okay. So Madam President, Mr. Mascot is going to make a request to remove an item from the held part of the Transportation Committee, and we can bring that up for a vote now. It's item 21 go ahead, Mr. Mascot, if you want to bring it up.
Yeah, I'd like to remove 21-00598 from held.
Okay. And that is your Baker you sponsor?
Yes, it is, Madam President.
All right. There's no other action that needs to be taken. Mr. Chair, if you could read the caption.
Yes, 21-0-0598, CDP 21047, an ordinance by Council Member J.P. Massacite as substituted by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the City of Atlanta 2016 Comprehensive Development Plan and Atlanta's Transportation Plan so as to incorporate the Peachtree Battle Neighborhood Transportation Study Master Plan into the CDP and the Atlanta's Transportation Plan. And for other purposes, this is MPUC, Council District 8, and the legislation was dual referred to Transportation and Community Development and has moved through the committee cycle, and was held, but is now ready to be to be voted on.
What is the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Matskai.
Now second it.
Motion by Matskai, second by Digits. Any discussion? Any objection? Okay, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Okay, let's see, Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Boone? Yes. Winslow? Winslow?
Same thing when we came in.
Is that for Winslow? Yes. In favor? Brown?
In favor.
Westmoreland?
In favor.
And Bond?
Aye.
All right, all votes are cast in the affirmative, Mr. Clerk. Please mute your phone if you're not talking.
The vote is now closed. Populate the vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
That concludes the report of the Transportation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll now move to Finance Executive Committee. The Honorable Jennifer I. Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. Let's take first the item that we removed from consent, which is item number 23 on page 10. It is 2100816. An ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Mathicate authorizing the transfer of $5,000.00 from the Council District 8 carry forward account to the Council District 8 Consulting Professional Services account and for other purposes. And I believe that Mr. Mathicate has requested that this be filed. So
yes,
that will
correct.
be my motion. Okay.
Second, Mathicate.
Motion by I, second by Mathicate to file. Any discussion? All right, let's open the vote.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Okay, Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? In favor? Mr. Bond?
Aye.
Westmoreland?
In favor.
Brown?
In favor.
Boone? Yes. Overstreet?
Affirmative.
All votes are cast affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It's filed. Next item.
Next item is item number 1 on page 37. It's 2100704. An ordinance by council members Andre Dickens and Andrea L. Boone to amend the charter of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, adopted under and by virtue of the authority of the Municipal Home Rule Act of 1965, OCGA Section 35.1 and following is amended by amending Subpart A, Article 3, Executive Chapter 5, Civil Service System, Section 3-505 to permit the hiring of civilian personnel who shall be entitled to receive their regular pension payments but shall acquire no further pension or civil service rights by virtue of such employment for terms in excess of 520 days and for other purposes. This was favorable out of committee, and this, as a charter amendment, this will be its third reading and final adoption today.
Okay. The motion is to adopt. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Boone? Yes. Hillis? Winslow? In favor? Brown?
In favor.
Westmoreland?
Yes.
Bond?
Aye.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. 14 yeas, 1 nay.
14 yeas, 1 nay. All right, it is adopted. Next item.
Item number 2 is 21R 4112, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee amending 21R 3499, which authorized the mayor, her designee, to enter into a cooperative agreement, CPS 1210271, with Sterling Info System for pre-employment background screening services utilizing Region 4 Education Center Contract R 191303 to add agreement dates on behalf of the Department of Human Resources in an amount not to exceed $340,370.00. All contract work shall be charged to and paid from accounts listed herein and for other purposes. And the motion at committee, the recommendation is to file.
Motion is to file. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to file.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Boone?
Yes.
Winslow?
In favor.
Brown?
In favor.
Westmoreland?
Yes.
Bond?
Aye.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. Adopted.
That was the last item on my report.
All right, thank you. We will now move to City Utilities Committee. The Honorable Madeline Archibald, Chair.
Thank you very much. We completed our work at the committee. We do not have a report. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go to Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee. The Honorable Joyce Shepard, Chair.
Madam President, no report.
All right. We now go to Zoning Committee. Very good. The Honorable Amir Faroki, Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. Sorry to disappoint. We do have a report. If you could turn your agendas to page 54, we have, 16 items, most of which can be taken in various blocks, but I'll start with two ordinances, two ordinances to be taken for a second read. Items number 1 and 2, to be taken as a block. Item number 1, 21-0610, zoning case number Z2165, 660, 662, 664, 666, 668, 670, and 672 at 11th Street. This ordinance is to rezone from I-1 light industrial to MRC3 mixed residential commercial. And item number 2, 21-0799, the location is the Edgewood neighborhood. The ordinance extends the existing moratorium by 60 days on applications for building, administrative, and land disturbance permits for properties in the R5 zoning district. Again, these two are to be taken as a block, and the recommended action is to approve.
Excuse me, motion is to approve. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, let's open the vote.
Please hold. The vote is now open. please vote.
Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Ms. Winslow? In favor. Mr. Bonds?
Aye.
Please withheld. Ms. Boone? Yes. Mr. Brown?
In favor.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Both items.
Great. Items number 3 through 10 will be next. They'll be taken as a block. Item number 3, 21-0306, zoning case number Z2153. It's a text amendment. The ordinance amends the zoning code to create a new Chapter 42 in-town South Commercial Corridor Overlay District. Item number 4, 21-0276, zoning case number Z2129, 1283 Marietta and 1295 Marietta Boulevard. The ordinance is to rezone from I2, heavy industrial, to MRC 3C, mixed residential commercial conditional. Item number 5, 21-0288, zoning case number U2105, 1189 Merlin Avenue. The ordinance grants a special use permit for a daycare center. Item number 6, 21-0386, zoning case number Z2144, 77, 81, and 87 Sheridan Drive. The ordinance is to rezone from RG2, residential general sector 2, to RG3C, residential general sector 3 conditional. Item number 7, 21-0486, zoning case number Z2155, 3626 Peachtree Road and 3693 and 3715 Waika Road, 3660, 3700, 3706, 3714, and 3721 Peachtree Dunwoody Road. The ordinance is to rezone from SPI 12 SA, Buckhead Lennox Station Special Interest District Subarea 3 and R3 Single Family Residential to SPI 12 SA 1C, Buckhead Lennox Stations Special Public Interest District Subarea 1 Conditional, SPI 12 SA 2C, Buckeye Lennox Station Special Public Interest Subject Sub-Area 2 Conditional, and SPI 12 SA 3C, Buckeye Lennox Station Special Public Interest District Sub-Area 3 Conditional. Item number 8, 21-0489, zoning case number Z2159, 1060, 1064, 1084, 1120, and 1158 First Street, 1060, 1066, 1070, 1076, 1080, 1086, 1120, 1138, 1142, 1152, 1158, 1162, 1081, 1147, and 1157 Second Street, 1060, 1066, 1070, 1076, 1108, 1126, 1120, 1142, 1148, 1069, 1081, 1087, 1097, 1101, 1107, 1117, 1123, 1127, 1137, 1141, and 1147 3rd Street, 1096, 1100, 1110, 1059, 1073, 1083, 1127, and 2491 4th Street, 1060, 1066, 1070, 1076, 1080, 1086, 1106, 1110, 1120, 1126, 1081, 1097, 1111, 1117, and 1127 5th Street, 1062 and 1063 and 1067 6th Street, 1066, 1070, 1076, 1080, 1086, 1092, 1096, 1100, 1106, 1110, 1138, 1156, 1172, 1178, 1184, 1188, 1192, 1198, 1202, 1067, 1071, 1077, 1081, 1087, 1093, and 1097 8th Street, 1046, 1050, 1054, 1076, 1080, 1086, 1096, 1100, 1104, 1108, 1116, 1124, and 1095 Hightower Road, 1086, 1096, and 1100, and 1108 Northwest Drive, 1073, 1077, and 2504, St. Joseph Avenue, 174 Ridge Avenue rear, 1154 and 1158 St. James Place, 2393 and 2379 North Circle Drive, 2570, 2580, and 2586 Watkins Street, 2643 and 2689 Morris Street, 2658 and 2682 St. Peter's Avenue, 1072, 1080, 1092, 1096, 1106, 1126, 1077, 1081, 1087, 1093, and 1101 Wedgwood Drive, 2664, 2680, excuse me, 2694, 2675, 2685, and 2689 Brown Street, 2575 and 2587 Elliott Street, and 2586 James Drive Northwest. The ordinance is to rezone from R4A, single-family residential, and R4BC, single-family residential conditional, to PDH, Planned Development Housing. Item number 9, 21-0490, zoning case number Z2160, 1111, 0 Hightower Road and 0 North Hightower Road. The ordinance is to rezone from R4A, single-family residential, to MRC1C, mixed residential commercial conditional. And finally, item number 10, 21-0493, zoning case number Z2163, 342 Copenhagen Avenue. The ordinance is to rezone from RG2, HC20 LSA1 BL, residential general sector, to Emmett Park Historic District Sub Area 1 Beltline Overlay, to MRC1 C HC20 LSA1 BL, mixed residential commercial conditional, Emmett Park Historic Sub Area 1 Beltline Overlay. Again, these items 3 through 9 on the agenda. They're taken as a block, and the motion is to approve.
Motion is to adopt. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the block of items.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Okay, I was waiting to see, but I can guess who. Ms. Overstreet.
Affirmative.
Ms. Winslow. In favor. Mr. Bond.
Aye.
Ms. Boone. Ms. Boone. Yes. Mr. Brown.
In favor.
Did we get you, Mr. Westmoreland?
I can't tell with my screen, so, but I'm in favor.
Okay. I think that is it, Ms. Winslow. Did we get you?
Yes, you did in favor.
Okay, all votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. They are adopted, all 8 items. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Item number 11 requires an amendment. This was moved out of committee favorable on substitute, so now we're going to entertain the amendment. It's been emailed to everyone, I believe, by around 1:19.
Did you read
Yeah, I'll read it. Yeah. Yep. Item number 11, 21-0457, zoning case number Z2175. The text amendment, the ordinance amends the zoning code to create a new chapter 16-18D, SPI 4, Ashview Heights and Atlanta University Center Special Public Interest District. The amendment before us was emailed around. If you like, I can read what those amendments are. Otherwise, I will move to amend as everyone has been notified.
Second, Winslow. Second by Winslow. Motion by Perotti to amend. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the amendment.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Okay, see Mr. Bond.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Westmoreland.
In favor.
Dickens.
In favor.
Brown.
In favor.
Boone.
Yes, in favor.
Overstreet.
Affirmative.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. The amendment is adopted. Any further amendments, Mr. Chair?
Yep, we have 5 more items. Item number 12, 21-002.
No, we've only amended it. I was asking were there any more amendments?
No, sorry, we should move to approve.
Okay, so the motion to adopt is amended. Let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Boone?
Yes.
Winslow?
In favor.
Brown?
In favor.
Westmoreland?
Yes.
Bond?
Aye.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
Ms. Overstreet voted in the affirmative.
Duly noted. Populating vote.
I think the system is lagging, so if you can call the vote, including Ms. Overstreet's vote, please.
Noted. 15 yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted as amended. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. Item number 12, 21-0285, zoning case number Z2139, 3393 Jonesboro Road. The ordinances are rezoned from R4, single-family residential, to I1C, light industrial conditional. The motion is to adopt.
Motion to adopt. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
We vote. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Mr. Bond, do you vote?
Aye.
Westmoreland?
Yes.
Brown?
In favor.
Winslow? In favor. Boone? Yes. Overstreet? Affirmative. All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
Items number 13 and 14 will be taken as a block. Item number 13, 21-0086, zoning case number Z2087, 1512, 1516, 1522, and 1526 Hardy Street. The ordinance is to rezone from R5, two-family residential, to MR3, multifamily residential. Item number 14, 21-0495, zoning case numbers U2112, 3338 Delmar Lane. The ordinance grants a special use permit for a daycare center. And for both of these items, the motion is to file.
Motion is to file. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to file.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Boone? Yes. Ms. Overstreet?
Affirmative.
Winslow?
In favor.
Brown? Mr. Brown?
In favor, Madam President.
Thank you. Westmoreland?
In favor.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It is filed. Next item.
The final two items of the report are items number 15 and 16. Item number 15, 21R, 4143, 8340 Wormwood Avenue. The item is to extend the interim controls on the pending landmark designation of the Wormwood Avenue Bridge. And item number 1621R, 4144, 130 West Basis Ferry Road, to extend the interim controls on the pending landmark designation of the Smith Farm Building.
And on both these items, 15 and 16, the motion is to adopt.
Motions to adopt. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
Please hold. The vote is now open.
Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Boone?
Yes.
Winslow?
In favor.
Brown? Brown? Westmoreland?
Yes.
Bond?
Aye.
All votes are cast in the affirmative. No vote from Mr. Brown. No answer from him.
I'm in favor, Madam President. My apologies. I keep getting dropped from the call. My apologies.
Okay, Mr. Brown is in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. 15 yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted. Next item.
That concludes the zoning committee's reports for this meeting, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrocchi. We now go to Community Development and Human Services Committee, which I'm sorry I skipped. The Honorable Matt Westmoreland, Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. We have 3 items. The first is Communication 21-C-0142, a communication from Danielle Hampton, Chair of the Audit Committee, submitting the performance audit report, Parks and Recreation piece. The motion is to accept and file.
The motion is to accept and file. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on filing this piece of legislation, accepting and filing.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Mr. Bond?
Aye.
Brown?
In favor.
Winslow?
In favor.
Boone? Ms. Boone?
Yes.
Overstreet?
Affirmative.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It is accepted and filed. Next item.
Next item is Ordinance 21-00342, an ordinance by the Community Development and Human Services Committee to amend the land use element of the 2016 Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 910, 922, 928 Lindbergh Drive from single-family residential land use designation to the low-density residential land use designation for other purposes. And the motion is to adverse.
Motion is to adverse. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to adverse.
The vote is open.
everyone please vote?
Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Brown?
In favor.
Winslow? In favor. Boone?
Yes.
And Overstreet?
Affirmative.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed.
And please, the motion, if I understood it, was to adverse. Thank you.
Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It is adverse. Next item.
Our final item is 210683, an ordinance for the Community Development and Human Services Committee to amend the land use designation of the 2016 Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 1818 Lakewood Avenue from single-family residential land use designation to the low-density residential land use designation and for other purposes. And the motion is to file.
Motion is to file. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to file.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Overstreet, how do you vote? Boone?
Yes.
Winslow?
In favor.
Brown?
In favor.
Bond?
Aye.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. It's filed.
That concludes our report, Madam President.
Thank you. So that ends the standing committees. We now go to the next session. Yes.
This is Dennis Conway, parliamentarian for Atlanta City Council. It was brought to my attention that 21R 4112 perhaps was announced as adopted. The vote was to file.
Okay, thank you. We will make that correction, Mr. Clerk, if I did mispronounce that one.
Duly noted, it was reflected properly on the display.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Conway. So now we're to, I ask that you use your speaker button. I understand there are a few items for immediate consideration. And I will wait.
I have one. This is Carla.
Okay. Yeah, I was waiting on the speaker button, but I don't see anybody here. So go ahead, Ms. Smith. You got the floor.
Thank you. This is a resolution by Council members Carla Smith and Michael Julian Bond requesting the mayor or her authorized designee to authorize the transfer of $1,750,000 for the settlement of litigation with Mr. and Mrs. Robert Darden, the heirs of Mrs. Maddie Jackson, and Mr. Dwayne Adgar, to be paid from the Water and Wastewater Sewer Fund and for other purposes. Whereas Ordinance 14-0-1471, the ordinance adopted by the Atlanta City Council on October the 6th, 2014, and approved as per Section 2-403 of the City Charter on October the 15th, 2014, authorized the city to execute all appropriate documents for the acquisition of properties necessary for the completion of certain sanitary sewer capacity improvements for the Southeast Atlanta Green Infrastructure Initiative Phase 2, the letter C, project on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management. And whereas the ordinance also authorized the mayor and the city attorney to initiate condemnation proceedings pursuant to the declaration of taking method, OCGA numbers listed, or other condemnation method as may be appropriate pursuant to OCGA listed. And whereas Mr. and Mrs. Robert Darden, Mr. Dwayne Adgar, and the heirs of Miss Maddie Jackson, the property owners, are residents of Peoplestown neighborhood and were subject to the condemnation of property pursuant to the ordinance to alleviate sewer capacity issues. And whereas the property owners and the city have been engaged in litigation subject to the acquisition of property, whereas it is in the best interest of the city to settle with the property owners and work towards a good faith resolution, now therefore be it resolved by the Atlanta City Council of the City of Atlanta that the mayor or her authorized designee enter settlement negotiations with Mr. and Mrs. Robert Darden, Mr. Dwayne Adgar, and the heirs of Miss Maddie Jackson, property owners of the Peoplestown neighborhood, in an amount not to exceed $1,750,000.00. Be it further resolved that the city law department immediately enter into any necessary settlement negotiations with all affected parties. Be it finally resolved that all resolutions in conflict with this resolutions are hereby waived to the extent of such conflict. And I'll make a motion to approve, and I will remind everyone this is a resolution of intent, and I will drop an ordinance, which is the money paper, when we read impersonal papers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bond. Just a quick question, Ms. Smith. In your reading that, so no one has discussed this settlement with the parties?
This has been in a lot of the last 4 years, or probably a little bit longer than 4 years. This has all been over in court with the judges. So it's been over in the judicial branch, and they've been trying to work it out in the courthouse. So this way we're asking the law department to go and try to work it out without a bunch of court stuff being around.
Okay, if members want to speak, please use your speaker button. And I think the first one is Ms. I.
I'd like to make a motion to refer to committee.
Is there a second?
Second for Dickens.
Okay. Faroki, was that Faroki?
Yes.
I heard my form. Okay. A motion by I, a second by Faroki to refer to committee, and that committee would be. I would think that would go to Public Safety Legal Administration Committee because it's related to a settlement. But I would also refer. I would also, hold on, let me see if people are hitting me up on wanting to speak. I would also refer to City Utilities Committee because there is a lot of issues there. So hold on, let me see who else wants to speak. So there's a motion and a second. And let's see, somebody said they wanted to speak. Mr. Brown. Anyone to speak to the motion to refer? Mr. Brown. I think Mr. Brown is...
Madam President?
Yes. Go ahead, Mr. Brown. Go ahead, Mr. Brown. I think you muted.
Madam President, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I apologize. So I got kicked off the call, and I'm just coming back onto the call.
So I'm not even sure where we are in the process of what is being done right now.
Sure, I'll let you know. Ms. Smith and Mr. Bond made a motion to adopt a resolution. And then that motion was substituted by Ms. Ide and Mr. Kuroki for the motion to send it to committee. I said that it was on the City Utilities as well as Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee, since it's related to a proposed settlement. And so now we are discussing the motion to refer to committee.
Okay, I support the motion to refer to committee.
Okay. And I just want to make note that I do know that the law department has been in settlement negotiations with the parties. I was just asking Ms. Smith more specifically about whether they had discussed with them this particular piece of legislation.
Understood. And just for a point of clarity, I do have a statement from the Dardens as well as Tanya Washington in regards to this, but I will wait until we move this motion forward presented by Councilmember Ide and second by Mr. Kuroki.
Thank you. That would be proper. Any more discussion, more specifically on the motion on whether or not to send it to committee as indicated?
Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, I would speak against the motion to refer. We will be introducing an ordinance that gets to the nuts and bolts of the issue at the appropriate time, which will need to go to the committee. It will be more binding on the council. This is a position of intent to work the issue out with the Dardens and the other affected parties. This simply allows a greater breadth of consideration of compensation for those families. And of course, this has I want to give a high compliment to our mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, who is also very supportive of both papers and is in support of us moving forward today on the resolution. The ordinance, of course, has to go to committee, and we're more than, free to have as much dialogue about the nuts and bolts of the ordinance, as it is. We'll follow the regular process, but I think that it's important, having worked and authored legislation for those affected parties over the years, and have been consistent in doing so, that we would make this important step today as a position. I don't see the necessity for this piece to go to committee, but of course, the ordinance will follow that course, and I don't think there's any problem. We're more than aware of the issues surrounding those three groups who are still affected. We want to work this out, and I believe that this is the appropriate way to do it. There's no reason for this particular piece to go back. I think that we are all in agreement that we want to work out something for these families to make them feel whole. So with that, I'll withdraw.
Okay, Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith, I'm going to go to you, and then Mr. Dickens, followed by Ms. Hyde.
Thanks. I was going to say the same thing that Michael just said. All this is a resolution that's just saying that we're going to make a good faith effort to try to negotiate. And Michael and I are dropping an ordinance, which is the money paper, which will go to committee, and we can discuss all of everything there. So I'm speaking against the motion to refer, because I've already got an ordinance that we're going to refer to committee ready after we do this.
Okay, Mr. Dickens.
Yeah, Madam President, once we made a substitute motion to refer, isn't there a procedure that we go ahead on and vote on that?
That motion is debatable, and so people are now speaking to whether or not they want that motion to be referred.
Okay, yeah, I think it's wise for us to refer this to committee so that we can have more time to look at it. You know, what is the appropriate amount? Why is this being taken on today? Have the negotiations occurred? I mean, as Councilmember Brown stated, I also see the statement from the Dardens and the Washingtons. They have not been communicated with at all about this amount in any near term recently. Why today? Why now? Also, we didn't have an opportunity to have public comment on this. We didn't have opportunity to hear from anybody about this. And these are dollars that are being asked to be spent. You know, what has transpired over this time? You know, we need a full, comprehensive conversation about this and not immediate consideration for something that the affected parties aren't even at the table. So, you know, your ordinance can come later, and that will be something to look at. If this resolution is before us, it should be looked at in committee. And, Madam President, I think you said PSLA, Public Safety Legal Administration. Is it also, is it dual referred as well?
Yes, Mr. Dickens, I said Public Safety Legal Administration as well as City Utilities.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so then those two committees will hear it, and different committee members on different committees will have their opinions on it. So I definitely support us referring this to the various committees and not taking on an action such as this today, where we haven't had any conversations about it at all. This is major. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dickens. Ms. I.
Yeah, I'll just say, you know, it struck me when I heard about this morning as unusual because the law department is always out there negotiating, trying to resolve litigation. So I did speak with the city attorney who, you know, told me that this paper is not necessary at all to continue to find a resolution to this case. It's not, we don't need to do this. It seems more tied to a press conference from this morning and the election tomorrow than anything else. And I think it needs to go to committee for the reasons that Mr. Dickens was saying of, you know, let's have public comment. Let's hear from the people impacted by it. There doesn't seem to be any need at all for this paper, even though it's not, you know, in approval of an actual settlement. No need for it to happen today versus running the normal course.
Yeah, someone asked about me for whether or not FEC. I think City Utilities could best handle it because it will, based on what I'm hearing from the ordinance, be coming out of water sewer funds. And this is a water sewer project, and this is where it originated from. But of course, anything in terms of referral can change if there's a case made. So the motion is to refer to PLSA, Public Safety Legal Administration Committee, and City Utilities Committee. Let's open the vote.
Please hold. The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
I second. I'm against I'm sorry, I didn't second that egregious motion. I'm against the motion to refer.
Okay, so Bond is a nay. Overstreet?
Affirmative.
Boone?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Okay. Who else am I missing? Westmoreland?
In favor.
Winslow?
No.
All votes are cast. Mr. Bond and Ms. Winslow are nays. All others are affirmative.
No, I'm a nay.
Okay, did you vote on the machine? Okay, Ms. Nicholson, Okay, you're already on the machine then. You're fine. I was just calling for those who are not on the system.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Populating vote.
And the motion is to refer, Mr. Clerk.
Duly noted.
Okay, I need you to change the caption from adopted to refer before we start the vote. And Mr. Clerk, all votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. 12 yeas, 3 nays.
12 yeas, 3 nays. It is referred as indicated to Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee and the City Utilities Committee. Mr. Brown asked to be recognized.
I'd like to be recognized after Mr. Brown.
All right. And will be Mr. Bond. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to, if I may, read the statement from the Dardens in regards to this matter. This email was sent at 1:04 p.m. and it states, this settlement offer is as insulting as it is late. The city was wrong from the beginning, and for them to offer one family something and not all of the families that have suffered for 8 years due to the city's fraudulent behavior is pure politics. We want our homes, and if the city wants to speak with us about that, they can contact our lawyers, Gary Spencer and Don Evans. Mr. and Mrs. Darden and Tanya Washington. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Bond.
Thank you. I'm glad Mr. Brown read that statement, and I'd like to clarify why I was against the motion to refer. This piece of legislation was not a settlement. It was authorizing a broader range of financial settlement to be negotiated. The Darden family was reached out to this morning, I know for a fact. So the information they have is not good. I am disappointed that the council would not honor the request of the district council member who has been on the ground on this situation for 20 years and would not honor her request. And I just want to push back with great umbrage on the characterization that this is political and has to be dealing with politics. You know, particularly in this term, I've been the lone voice in trying to make sure that the Dardens and the others were dealt with in a fashion that is fair and equitable, and couldn't get, with the exception of Ms. Smith and a few others, couldn't get any support or vote from members who spoke to refer back to committee to delay this decision. So on the one hand, I'm disappointed that we wouldn't honor our colleague and take a position and state it to the public that we are squarely behind resolving this issue and making this family whole. But also, I am encouraged that there is a tremendous amount of interest in reviewing this legislation, even though it's going to go through the committee process. When I have authored legislation just as last year that we couldn't get any votes on, couldn't get any consideration or debate, or have anybody sign on their name, let alone vote for it, to make the Dardens whole. So I hope that good will come of this. I hope hope that the efforts that are sincere, that are supported by our mayor, will prevail in the coming weeks. And so even though I'm disappointed today, I'm encouraged by the interest expressed by members who want to get involved in this at this late date. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just say that, as it relates to whether it's political or not, when a piece of legislation comes up like this in the midst of a political season, tomorrow being election day, and the first people hear about it is through a press conference at a political campaign office, then that definitely makes it a political statement with a good purpose. We want to make sure that we're working to make sure that the families are whole. And so hopefully in the committee meeting, people can come to a better resolution and sit down at the table with the families affected and get something done. I see Mr. Dickens wants to be recognized. Mr. Dickens?
Yes, thank you for that, Council President. I did want to refresh the memory of one or all council members that in 2019, ordinance number 19-0-1518, an ordinance by council members Michael Julian Bond and Andre Dickens, as substituted by City Utilities Committee, requesting the City of Atlanta's Law Department to withdraw all condemnation actions by the City of Atlanta against Mr. and Mrs. Robert Darden, Mr. Dwayne Adgar, and Mrs. Tanya Washington. To repeal the ordinance 14-0-1471 in its entirety, to initiate the return of legal title of certain parcels to the prior property owners and for other purposes. So just wanted to refresh that, and it died after 12 months of being on hold. We went, and COVID and other things happened. So this policy was written with the express intent as what was mentioned in its caption, and here we are today. That ordinance went through a committee process and it was held. So this is a serious matter, and I'm glad that we referred it to committee. And I think it's important to note that numerous council members have been interested in this action of doing whatever we can to make sure we preserve our legacy residents in Atlanta. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, just to point out, Madam President, and I appreciate Mr. Dickens being more specific than I was, but it was held because there were members who weren't interested in supporting it. There were more members expressed interest in referring this resolution today to go to committee that were in support of that ordinance that would have resolved their issue. And that was the point that I was making. That the council at one time, we got to take a stand. And if we're going to help these folks, this was an opportunity to do it. There's no resolution that is absolutely necessary or pertinent for negotiation. But it is important for the council to go on record to say, this is what we want to do. Now, when you introduce an ordinance, you can flesh out the details of how you get there. You can change the amounts, of the money that you want to appropriate. You can give better instructions to the law department, or take their advice or not take their advice. But at some point, the council's got to go on record. And you're right, Mr. Dickens. When you introduced that paper, it sat and it languished because some of the members who obviously voted to refer today didn't care enough to support that position a year ago. But I'm a hopeful person. And so hopefully in the discussions that we'll have in the next 2 weeks, we'll not only we'll have our hearts in the right place, and we'll do a gut check and be brave enough to stand up for these families and to put this issue behind us and respect our fellow district, or you all's fellow district member. And I'll end.
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, I would just leave us on a final note that we wouldn't even be in this position had council not voted to enact eminent domain on their home from the beginning. That's why we're in the position that we're in. And I believe that this should not be turned into a political moment, and we should not, take the frustration and the trauma and the pain that these residents have experienced and use it for such. Thank you, Madam President.
Anyone else? All right. Any other items for immediate consideration?
Yes, ma'am. I have an item.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President. And it is Elms number 27379, a resolution by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond and Andre L. Boone, a resolution declaring November 2021 as Native American Heritage Month in the city of Atlanta and for other purposes. Whereas Native American Heritage Month, also referred to as American Indian and Alaskan Native Heritage Month, began as Native American Awareness Week back in 1976 as an effort to get a week of appreciation and acknowledgement for the unique culture and contributions made by the first Americans for their growth and establishments in the United States. Whereas in 1990, a joint resolution was passed by Congress and approved by President George H.W. Bush, changed the name of Native American Awareness Week to National American Indian Heritage Month. And whereas declarations like these have been issued since 1994, such as Native American Heritage Month and National American Indian and Alaskan Native Heritage Month, and whereas every year in November, Native American Heritage Month is celebrated in honor of the remarkable Native Americans who have contributed a lot to improve the character of the nation. And whereas November is a time to rejoice and celebrate the rich and diverse cultures, histories, and traditions to appreciate the great contributions of Native Americans. Whereas Native American Heritage Month is an opportunity to educate the general public about tribes, to raise awareness about the unique challenges Native Americans have faced both historically and in the present, and ways in which tribal citizens have worked to conquer these challenges. And whereas Native Americans are descendants of the original indigenous inhabitants of the area known as the United States, and whereas the Bureau of Census estimates that in 2020, there are 9.7 million individuals of American, Indian, and Alaskan Native descent in the United States. And whereas throughout the month, the City of Atlanta will commit to continue supporting Native Americans and to let the city and the whole world know of their achievements and contributions. Whereas the City of Atlanta recognizes and declares November 2021 as Native American Heritage Month, now therefore be it resolved, the City Council of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, that the month of November 2021 is hereby declared Native American Heritage Month in the City of Atlanta. Be it further resolved that all citizens are encouraged to participate in Native American Heritage Month and in appropriate programs, activities, and events. Be it finally resolved that all resolutions and parts of resolutions in conflict herewith are hereby repealed for the purpose of this resolution. I move approval.
Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Second. Okay, second by Brown, motion by Bond. Any discussion? If not hearing none, let's open the vote on the resolution.
Please hold.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Shepherd, how do you vote?
Shepherd, yes.
Affirmative. Boone. Yes. Cook.
Aye.
Winslow. In favor. Westmoreland.
In favor.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
All right, 15 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Any other items for immediate consideration? Any more items for immediate consideration? Okay, please mute your phone if you're not talking. I don't hear anyone else saying they have an item for immediate consideration. So now I will go to papers to be referred to division. Okay, now you all send me an updated version. I'm going to use the version I have. If I miss anyone, then you can just let me know. We're going to start with Ms. Smith, followed by Shook, Shepard, Overstreet, Mexican, Cherokee, Brown, Bond, and Archibald. And while I do that, I'll try to get the new version up. Okay. That's not working. Are you all there? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can I go? This is Smith.
Yes, ma'am. I'm waiting on you.
Okay. Thank you for making me first. An ordinance by council members Carla Smith and Michael Julian Bond. This is Elms number 27407. It's an ordinance authorizing the chief financial officer to amend the FY 2022 budget by transferring funds in the amount of $1,750,000 for the settlement of litigation with Mr. and Mrs. Robert Darden, the heirs of Miss Maddie Jackson and Mr. Dwayne Adgar, and authorizing the chief financial officer to transfer funds as listed herein and for other purposes.
Okay, and that is CUC and Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. I have Elms number 27359.
Okay.
Ordinance by Council Member Carla Smith waiving the sidewalk requirements of sections listed of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for subdivision application SD-21-010, 1046 and 1056 Burn Street, to provide that in lieu of constructing the required sidewalk at the subdivision site, the developer of the subdivision shall construct 176 linear feet of sidewalk along the north and northwest side of 1056 Burn Street at the intersection of Burn Street and Hemlock Circle, and 179 linear feet of sidewalk along the east and northeast side of 1070 Burn Street at the intersection of Hemlock Circle, for a total of 355 feet of sidewalk and for other purposes.
Okay, that is 27359 to Transportation Committee.
I have another one for Transportation Committee, but I don't have an Elms number for it. Can I go ahead and read it?
Sure.
Okay. It's an ordinance by Council members Carla Smith and Mayor Faroki, authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to execute Amendment number 2 to contract number listed Spring Street Viaduct Replacement, Southern Phase 2, construction agreement with C.W. Matthews Contracting Company, Inc., and to add additional funding in the amount not to exceed $6 million and 0 cents, and to extend the term of the contract for a period of 12 months or until project completion. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account number listed herein and for other purposes.
Transportation and Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. Elms number 27384.
Okay.
An ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute special procurement agreement, Cloudflare web optimization and security services with Cloudflare, Inc. for a term of 2 years, retroactively effective from October the 26th, 2020, in an amount not to exceed $90,000 and 0 cents. And to ratify services rendered in connection with the agreement from October the 26th, 2020, through execution of the agreement on behalf of the Department of Aviation in accordance with section listed Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
27384, the Transportation and Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. Number 27387, a resolution authorizing the mayor or her designee to exercise.
Please mute your phone.
To exercise amendment number 1 of contract number listed improved city services with ATL 311 mobile application with 3DI Inc. on behalf of the Department of Customer Service in an amount not to exceed $37,100 and 0 cents. All contracted work to be charged to and paid from the funding numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
27387, the Finance Executive Committee.
Number 27392. An ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith amending the fiscal year 2022 general fund budget by transferring to and from appropriations the amount of $100,000 to provide for funding that will contribute to the security and other services and facilities to be provided to the mayor-elect during the mayoral transition, the security services to be provided to the outgoing mayor, and the ceremony of the inauguration of newly elected city officials in accordance with ordinance listed and for other purposes.
27392, the Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. Elms number 27395. An ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith waiving the sidewalk requirement of section listed of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for subdivision application SD2-21-015, 72 Hardwick Street, Southeast, to provide that in lieu of constructing the required sidewalks at the subdivision site, the application of the sidewalk or of the required sidewalk, the applicant of the subdivision will construct 50 linear feet of sidewalk. Now, they're going to give some money, so somehow we messed this one up, but they're going to give money, so I'll have to redo this in committee, but it's a sidewalk waiver paper.
Okay, that is 27395, the Transportation.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Schuh. Mr. Schuh.
Thank you. I have one paper. It is Elms 27386, which would be an ordinance to authorize the carryover of December 21 excess leave accumulation for the City of Atlanta personnel for up to 20 days through and including December 21, 2022, and for other purposes.
Could you give me that ELMS number again, Mr. Shook, because I don't see it on my list.
Yeah. I'm showing ELMS 27386.
27386, the Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay, I did have you down for two others, but one was an IGA with Brookhaven, and the other was a distance exemption. Okay.
All right.
You want
let me pick up on that. Thank you. If you
okay,
can
I'll
come back.
I will. Ms. Shepherd.
Thank you. I have several also. ELMS number 27419, an ordinance by Councilmember George Shepherd authorizing a donation an amount not to exceed $2,000 and 0 cents from the District 12 carry forward account to Jose Feed the Hungry and Homeless Incorporated and for other purposes.
27419 to Finance Executive Committee.
Yes. ELMS number 27381, an ordinance by Councilmember George Shepherd to waive Chapter 2, Article 9, Division 1, Section 2-910 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to ratify the City of Atlanta grant applications with the United States Department of Homeland Security for the fiscal year 21, now non-competing continuation funding for the fiscal year 19, securing the city's program. To authorize the Chief Financial Officer to accept the award of the supplemental grant funding and to amend the fiscal year 2022 budget in the amount of $950,000 to anticipate and appropriate grant funds from DHS, to authorize the mayor or the director of the mayor's office of emergency preparedness as her designee to enter into any required agreements necessary for the implementation of this award and for other purposes.
27381, the Public Safety Legal Administration Committee.
ELMS number 27385, an ordinance by Councilmember George Shepherd authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the fiscal year 22 general fund budget in the amount of $19 million and 0 cents by transferring funds from the uncommitted fund balance in connection with a settlement approved by resolution number 21-R-4115, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the Department of Public Works and the Department of Finance and for other purposes.
Okay, 27385, Finance Executive City Utilities.
ELMS number 27391, a resolution by Councilmember George Shepherd authorizing the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs to administer the program of municipal support for the arts as required by Section 110-38 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for the provision of donations to eligible tax-exempt organizations and entities in an individual amount not to exceed $75,000 and a total amount not to exceed $1,700,000. I'm sorry, $1,700,000 for fiscal year 2022, in accordance with Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta Charter, authorizing the mayor or the executive director of the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs as the mayor's designee execute donation agreements, eligible tax-exempt organizations, and entities necessary for the administration of the municipal support for the arts for fiscal year 2022 on behalf of the City of Atlanta. Authorize.
Please mute your phone. Please mute your phone, Mr. Bond.
Oh, sorry.
To authorize the Chief Financial Officer to charge to and pay the donation authorized hereby from the account number listed herein and for other purposes.
Okay, that's 27391, Finance Executive Committee.
My last one. ELMS number 27390, an ordinance by Councilmember George Shepherd waiving the competitive
source selection requirements contained in Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Codes of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, and authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into agreements with performers, artists, media outlets, and sponsors for the 2022 Atlanta Jazz Festival in Atlanta, and allowing the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs to charge admission fees for select events at the festival, and directing that all Jazz Festival revenues and expenses be deposited and expended from the accounts listed below and for other purposes.
What was that L number again?
27390.
27390 to Finance Executive Committee.
That's it, Madam President.
All right, Ms. Overstreet.
I see that Councilmember Dickens needs to read his in, and I can wait until afterwards.
Okay, Mr. Dickens.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Overstreet, and thank you, Council President Moore. I'll read this in real quick. Elms 27378, a resolution by Councilmember Dickens authorizing the mayor or designee to amend the cooperation agreement of each community improvement district to outline qualifications and performance criteria for community improvement districts to independently procure and manage professional and construction services necessary to advance and implement transportation infrastructure projects in the City of Atlanta that implement portions of the One Atlanta Strategic Plan and for other purposes.
27378 to Transportation.
All right, and then the next is Elms 27382, an ordinance waiving the lease of city-owned real property requirements contained in Section 21547, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, as well as any other conflicting code provisions authorizing the mayor or designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into a lease agreement with Delta Airlines for land area Track 1, Track 2, jet fuel, storage, tanks, piping, pumps, and various equipment located on adjacent land area at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and for other purposes.
27382 Transportation, Finance Executive.
Elms 27383, an ordinance waiving the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances regarding the sale of city-owned real property requirements contained in Section 21547, Article X, Procurement and Real Estate Code authorizing the mayor or designee to sell 2 acres of property located in Paulding County, controlled by Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, to Paulding County and or Paulding County Airport Authority and for other purposes.
27383 Transportation, Finance Executive Committee.
And the last one is Elms 27389, a resolution authorizing the City of Atlanta to donate $2 million to blank to assist and support of recipients program establishing and implementing child savings accounts for certain eligible children residing in the City of Atlanta pursuant to Section 6306 of the City of Atlanta Charter, authorizing the mayor or designee and or chief financial officer to execute any documents or donation agreements necessary to effectuate this donation, authorizing the chief financial officer to charge to and pay the donation authorized hereby from the account number listed herein and for other purposes.
27389 to Finance Executive Committee.
Okay, that concludes my papers. Thank you.
Ms. Overstreet.
Okay, thank you. Elms number 27393, a resolution by Marcy Collier Overstreet, a resolution requesting the Commissioner of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to conduct a traffic study on 2220 Campbellton Road, Atlanta, Georgia 30311, and Cascade Road at Spring Park Drive, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia 30311, to determine the need for any safety improvements such as speed monitors and for other purposes.
Okay, that is 27393 to Transportation.
Okay, a resolution, Elms number 27380, a resolution by Marcy Collier Overstreet, a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a settlement agreement with Nisky Lake Water Works Incorporated in regard to required corrective action needed for Niskey Lake Dam in an amount not to exceed $2 million and for other purposes.
Okay, that was it, Niskey Lake, that is 27380, the Public Safety Legal Administration.
I think we're talking about public safety. Elm number 27417, an ordinance by Marcy Collier Overstreet authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $15,000 and 0 cents to the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, Atlanta branch from District 11 Carry Forward account to support their COVID-19 Vax concert and for other purposes.
27417, Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you.
Mr. Matsakite.
Thank you, Madam President. First is an ordinance by Council Member J.P. Matsakite authorizing a donation.
First, so that I can find it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is one that doesn't have an ELMS number. I apologize.
Go ahead.
An ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed blank dollars and 0 cents from the Council District 8 Carry Forward account to the Atlanta Memorial Park Conservancy to support their park improvement projects and for other purposes.
Okay, I have a 27412 to Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. The next is, one moment here. I don't have an ELMS number for this one as well. You may. It's an ordinance by Council Member J.P. Matsakite authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed blank dollars and 0 cents from Council District 8 Carry Forward account to the Friends of Bitsy Grant Tennis Center to support their playground improvement projects.
27410 to Finance Executive Committee.
Next is ELMS 27422, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing the mayor or designee to make the intersection of Old Field Road Northwest and Peachtree Battle Avenue Northwest an always stop controlled intersection to authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at said intersection and for other purposes.
27422, the Transportation.
Next is an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed blank from the Council District 8 Carry Forward to Park Pride on behalf of the below listed organizations to support their efforts with parks and playground improvement projects and for other purposes.
27408 to Finance Executive Committee.
And ELMS 27399, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $5,000 from the Council District 8 Carry Forward account to Park Pride on behalf of their Friends of Tanyard Creek Park to support their playground improvement projects and for other purposes.
27399 to Finance Executive Committee.
And then ELMS 27403, ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices, speed tables, on Angelo Road Northwest between Collier Road Northwest and 28th Street Northwest to waive certain provisions of Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
27403 to Transportation.
Next is 27404, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices, speed tables on Westminster Circle Northwest between Helm Hill Road Northwest and Margaret Mitchell Court Northwest to waive certain provisions in Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
Okay, that is 27404 to Transportation.
Great. And this next one, I don't have a ELMS number. Apologies. It's an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing the mayor and designee to make the intersection of Westminster Circle Northwest and Margaret Mitchell Court Northwest an all-way stop controlled intersection to authorize authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes.
27412 to Transportation.
Next is an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matzekite authorizing a donation in the amount not to exceed blank from the Council District 8 carry forward account to Chasteen Park Conservancy to support their park improvement projects and for other purposes.
That's 27413 to Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you for your help, Madam President.
You're welcome. We're now on your side.
Thank you, Council President. My first one is Elms 27401, an ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer and I authorizing the mayor her designee to make the intersection of Wellborn Drive Northeast and Wyndham Park Northeast an all-way stop controlled intersection to authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs to the intersection and for other purposes.
27401 Transportation.
The next is 27420. An ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer and I authorizing the transfer of $62,000 from the District 6 carry forward account to the Atlanta Department of Transportation for the installation of 2 traffic refuges on East Morningside Drive, Northeast, and for other purposes.
So that's 27420 to Transportation.
All right. Elms 27416. An ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer and I authorizing the CFO to amend the general fund budget to transfer $35,000.00 from the District 6 carry forward account to the 2015 Municipal Facilities Bond Fund to assist with renovations at Fire Station 19 and Virginia Highland and for other purposes.
Okay, that was
27416.
Okay. All right, and that goes to Finance Executive Committee.
All right, 27400, an ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer and I authorizing the mayor her designee to install traffic calming devices, speed tables on Virginia Circle Northeast between Todd Road Northeast and Barnett Street Northeast to waive certain provisions of Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
27400 to Transportation.
All right, 27418. An ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer and I, an ordinance to amend Chapter 130 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to adjust the taxes, assessments, service fees, and charges for solid waste services specified therein, including solid waste collection and recycling charges, charges for street-related sanitary services based on equivalent trip generation, charges for general good-related sanitary services based on properties under roof square footage, to formalize the administrative hearing procedure for the resolution of disputes, to update certain other provisions of Chapter 130 of the Code and for other purposes.
27418 to City Utilities Committee.
Okay, 27421. An ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer I, an ordinance to amend Chapter 130 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to adjust the taxes, assessments, service fees, and charges for solid waste services specified therein, including the establishment of a sanitary assessment for street-related sanitary services and general common good-related sanitary services based on taxable property value, to formalize the administrative hearing procedure for the resolution of disputes, to update certain other provisions of Chapter 130 of the Code and for other purposes.
27421 to City Utilities Committee.
All right. 27423. An ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer and I, an ordinance to amend Chapter 10, Article 2, Dealers and Manufacturers, to provide certain clarifying revisions regarding the processes and procedures by which the City of Atlanta shall issue licenses for the sale and service of alcohol within the City of Atlanta, and to amend Chapter 30, Article 2, Section 3-26, to define what shall be considered a quorum of the License Review Board, and to provide for the substance of the minutes thereof in accordance with the Georgia Open Meetings Act and other related purposes.
27423 to Public Safety Legal Administration Committee.
That's it.
Hey, Mr. Pierogi.
Thank you, Madam President. I have 2 papers. Elms number 27398, an ordinance by Councilmember Amir Faruqi authorizing a donation in an amount not to exceed $40,000.00 from the Council District 2 carry forward account to the Martin Luther King Senior Community Resources Collaborative to assist with the Guaranteed Income Initiative recommendations received for the Old Fourth Ward Economic Security Task Force and for other purposes.
27398, Finance Executive Committee.
Else number 27388, a resolution authorizing the City of Atlanta to donate $2 million and 0 cents to recipient to be named to assist in support of recipients program, establishing and implementing a guaranteed income pilot program for certain eligible individuals residing in the City of Atlanta pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta Charter, authorizing the mayor or her designee and or the chief financial officer to execute any documents or donation agreements necessary to effectuate this donation, authorizing the chief financial officer to charge and to pay the donation authorized hereby from the account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
27388 to Finance Executive Committee.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown. We'll go to Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Madam President. We've got an ordinance, Elms ID number 27409, an ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond, an ordinance to recognize, it says recognize Columbus Day as Indigenous Peoples Day in the City of Atlanta and to pay tribute to the important contributions of Native American people and to acknowledge and celebrate their rich and diverse cultures, traditions, and histories, and for other purposes.
27409 to Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Archibald, you're welcome.
Okay, let's see. Ounce number 27397. A resolution by Councilmember Madeline Archibald supporting the submission of a grant application for the Chattahoochee Trails Water Hub to the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget for an award of funds from the 6th COVID-19 relief bill for the purposes of technical assistance in education and support for an amendment to Chapter 74 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Atlanta by adding a new Article 6A to be entitled Chattahoochee Trail Proctor Creek Flood Area Regulations, with new Section 74-275 through and including Section 74-283 to allow the Commissioner of the Department of Watershed Management to review all plans associated with the stream bank, stream buffer, and flood area enhancements to be consistent with federal and state regulations for an adaptive reuse specifically for affordable housing units and to provide for protective conditions and procedures that will ensure such enhancements result in net positive flood area functions and do not adversely impact the National Flood Insurance Program within the City of Atlanta and for other purposes.
27397 to City Utilities Committee. Did I lose you? No, I said 27397 to City Utilities Committee.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. And then the last one, Elms number 27396, an ordinance by Councilmember Madeline Archibald to amend Chapter 10, Article 2, Section 10-93 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances so as to provide an exemption from the distance requirements listed in Section 10-88.1 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinance for one wine specialty shop to sell wine from the property located at 1454 LaFrance Street, Northeast, Suite 100, Atlanta, Georgia, 30317, and for other purposes.
Okay, that is 27396 to Public Safety Legal Administration Committee.
Thank you. That's it.
Mr. Shub?
Yes, thank you. Elms 27415 amends Chapter 10 of the Code so as to allow a wine specialty shop at the location indicated and for other purposes.
Okay, that is 27415 Public Safety, Legal Administration.
Yep, thank you. And finally, 27402 authorizes the mayor on behalf of the city to enter into an IGA with Brookhaven, Georgia, consenting to the allocation of building permit services to be provided to the location of 2836 Shady Valley, which is located in both cities and for other purposes.
Okay, 27402, the Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Brown.
Madam President, I'm not introducing the paper today.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
This is Archibald. I noticed on the Else number 27396 that the zip code should have been 30307 in the caption.
Okay, well, I'm sure they can either amend it in committee or you can talk to staff about making a correction.
Okay, if they can do it now, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have a paper to be referred? Okay, hearing none, now we're at general remarks. Hearing none, let's go to the adjourning roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Today's meeting was held in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1 in regards to open meetings. The adjourning roll call. Council President Felicia A. Moore.
Present.
Council members Michael Julian Bond.
Here.
Matt Westmoreland. Andre Dickens. Present. Carla Smith.
Here.
Amir Faroki.
Here.
Antonio Brown.
Here.
Cleta Winslow.
Present.
Navin Mosby Archibald.
Here.
Jennifer Ann Ide.
Here.
Howard Shook.
Aye.
J.P. Matsakite.
Here.
Dustin Hillis.
Here.
Andrea L. Boone.
Present.
Marcy Coley Overstreet.
Present.
Joyce M. Shepard.
Present.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Bond?
with all the talk of politics, no one mentioned that tomorrow is election day. That
yes.
people go to the polls November the 2nd, exercise their power, and go and vote.
Okay,
Madam
thank you.
This is Municipal Clerk Forrest Webb III. As you indicated at the beginning of the meeting, tomorrow, November 2nd, 2021, is Election Day. For the offices of Mayor, City Council President, Council members, Atlanta Board of Education, and Municipal Court judges for retention, polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, aye.
Second by aye. Motion by Bond to adjourn. It's non-debatable. Without objection, we are hereby adjourned.